What if everything you've been chasing, every expectation you've tried to meet, every voice telling you who to be, what if all of it has been pulling you away from the most important thing, yourself? Have you ever stopped to wonder what your life would look like if, for once, you put yourself first, not selfishly, not arrogantly, but with the pure intention of honoring your own needs, dreams, and well-being? Imagine waking up each day feeling deeply connected to who you are, not to the noise around you, not to the constant demands of the world, but to the calm, powerful center inside. That center is waiting for your attention, waiting for your permission to shine. It's easy to get lost in the chaos. The world moves fast. Everyone wants a piece of your time, your energy, your focus. From the moment you open your eyes, you're pulled in 1,000 directions. Work, social media, family, expectations, worries about the future, regrets from the past. You find yourself reacting, responding, sometimes even just surviving rather than truly living. And somewhere in that storm, the most important person gets forgotten. You, the one who carries your hopes, your pain, your unique light. Here's the truth that many never realize. When you stop focusing on the noise outside and start focusing on yourself, you unlock a power unlike any other. It's the power to change your story, to rewrite the script of your life from a place of strength and clarity. This isn't about becoming selfish or turning away from the world. It's about stepping into the fullness of your own being so that you can show up better, stronger, and more alive in everything you do. When you give yourself permission to focus inward, the world suddenly feels less overwhelming. Your purpose becomes clearer. Your confidence grows. You begin to understand that your true worth isn't measured by how much you do for others, but by how deeply you honor yourself. Most people never discover this because they're trapped in a cycle of seeking approval. They measure their value by likes, by praise, by comparison to others. But what if the only approval you really need is your own? What if the most powerful validation comes from looking in the mirror and knowing you're enough, right now as you are? That kind of self-focus isn't arrogance, it's freedom. It's breaking the chains of doubt, fear, and self-neglect that hold so many back. It's the first step toward a life where your actions are guided not by external pressures, but by your deepest desires and values. Focusing on yourself is the seed from which everything else grows. It's the foundation of resilience, creativity, and true happiness. When you nurture yourself, you build strength that no storm can shake. You cultivate peace that no noise can drown out. And with that strength and peace, you begin to create a life that feels right, not because someone else says it should, but because you know in your soul that it is. This path won't always be easy. It requires courage to look inward honestly. It means facing fears and insecurities that you may have buried for years. But the reward is worth every challenge. The reward is a life where you are the architect of your own happiness, where your choices reflect your true self, and where your dreams no longer feel distant, but deeply within reach. By the time you let yourself truly focus on you, everything shifts. The doubts that clouded your mind begin to clear. The worries that drained your spirit lose their grip. You start to live with purpose, a purpose born from the knowledge that you matter, that your well-being is not negotiable, and that your potential is limitless when you stand fully in your own power. So ask yourself again, what if the most important thing you do today is simply to turn your attention inward? What if this moment right now is the start of a new way of living, where your energy is no longer scattered but laser focused on the one person who deserves it most? The one person who can change everything, you. Hold on to that thought, because this is the beginning of a journey, one that will take you from feeling overwhelmed and lost to feeling grounded, confident, and unstoppable. And once you embrace the power of focusing on yourself, you'll never look back. When you finally decide to focus on yourself, you begin to see clearly just how much the world's distractions have stolen from you. Every moment spent chasing someone else's approval, every second lost in endless scrolling, every ounce of energy poured into things that don't feed your soul, it all adds up. These distractions are not harmless. They quietly drain your power. They steal your time, your clarity, and your peace. And the worst part? They often go unnoticed until you're left feeling exhausted, stuck, and disconnected from who you truly are. Distraction is a silent thief. It creeps in disguised as necessity, as duty, as connection. It convinces you that you need to be everywhere at once, to keep up with every trend, to respond to every message immediately. But here's the secret. None of that matters if you lose yourself along the way. If your energy is spread thin, if your mind is scattered, you become a shadow of your potential. The very things you want, success, happiness, fulfillment, slip further and further out of reach because your focus is divided. The world demands your attention, but what it really needs is for you to reclaim your attention for yourself. Science confirms what your heart already knows. Studies on attention and productivity reveal that multitasking and constant distractions reduce your brain's ability to perform at its best. When you divide your focus, your brain works harder but achieves less. The result is fatigue, frustration, and a creeping sense of dissatisfaction. You're busy but not productive. You're connected but not fulfilled. Your mind feels noisy, not clear, and beyond just efficiency, there's a deeper cost. Psychologists tell us that when our attention is scattered, our emotional well-being suffers. Anxiety and stress rise because our brains are overwhelmed, unable to rest or recharge. The constant pull to be everywhere at once makes it impossible to be present with yourself. You lose touch with your own feelings, your desires, your inner voice. You become a passenger in your own life, reacting to external demands instead of steering your own ship. But here's the turning point. When you decide to focus on yourself, you interrupt this cycle. You reclaim your most precious resource, your attention. Instead of allowing it to be hijacked by endless distractions, you choose where it goes. You learn to protect your mind and your time like the treasures they are. This choice, simple as it sounds, is revolutionary. It rewires your brain, restoring clarity and calm. It builds resilience against stress. It creates space for your true self to emerge and thrive. This is where real power begins. Because focus is not just about productivity or efficiency, it's about connection. Connection to your purpose, your passion, your authentic self. When your attention is focused inward, you start to hear the whispers of your dreams, the quiet nudges of your intuition. You start to understand what truly matters, what lights you up, what fills your life with meaning. This clarity fuels motivation in a way nothing else can. You also develop the ability to say no. No to distractions, no to draining obligations, no to anything that doesn't serve your highest good. Saying no is not just a boundary. It's an act of self-love and self-respect. It's a declaration that your time and energy are valuable. And as you say no to the things that pull you away, you say yes to the things that nourish you. You begin to fill your life with intention rather than chance. The ripple effects are profound. With focus comes confidence. When you know what you want and you direct your energy toward it, doubts and fears lose their grip. You start to believe in your own strength, in your ability to create change. Every small step forward builds momentum, and momentum fuels courage. You become unstoppable because you are no longer scattered, you are centered. No longer overwhelmed, you are empowered. This power changes not only how you see yourself, but how you interact with the world. When you are focused, calm, and connected, you show up differently. You listen more deeply, speak more authentically, and act more decisively. Your presence becomes magnetic because it's rooted in truth. People are drawn to that energy because it's rare and real. And in that way, focusing on yourself doesn't isolate you. It strengthens your relationships and your impact. But perhaps the most beautiful truth is that this focus creates space for growth. Growth that is sustainable and fulfilling. When your mind is clear and your heart is aligned, you can learn, adapt, and evolve without burning out. You stop running in circles and start moving forward with purpose. Challenges become opportunities, setbacks become lessons, and every day becomes a chance to become more of who you were meant to be. So as you recognize how much distraction has stolen from you, let it fuel your resolve. Let it ignite a fire inside to protect your focus fiercely. This is not just about avoiding the noise. It's about choosing yourself over the chaos. It's about stepping into your own power by reclaiming your attention, your energy, your life. Because when you do, you don't just survive the world's demands, you master them. You don't just react to life, you create it. And you don't just dream of a better future, you live it. This is the extraordinary gift waiting for you when you focus on yourself. A life where your energy is your own, your mind is your ally, and your soul is free to soar. This is the power that changes everything. When your focus shifts inward and you start reclaiming your energy, something extraordinary happens. You begin to understand why you matter most in your own life. This isn't just a comforting thought. It's a profound truth rooted in how the mind and heart work together. At the core of every meaningful change lies a simple but powerful realization. You are the center of your world. Your thoughts, your feelings, your choices, they are the foundation on which everything else is built. When you prioritize yourself, you are not being selfish, you are being essential. Your mind is designed to thrive when it feels secure and valued. Neuroscience shows that when you give yourself attention and care, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals that build confidence, reduce anxiety, and deepen your sense of peace. When you focus on your needs and nurture your growth, your brain strengthens the pathways that help you make better decisions, handle stress more effectively, and stay motivated. It's a biological boost that fuels your journey forward. But more than biology, there's a psychological foundation to this. Your self-worth blossoms when you learn to honor yourself. Many people live their entire lives seeking validation from others because they've never been taught the power of self-validation. When your self-focus is strong, you become your own anchor. You no longer depend on external praise or approval to feel worthy. You start to realize that your value isn't tied to what others think or say about you. It's rooted deep inside, unshakable and true. This shift changes everything. Suddenly, you don't feel the constant need to prove yourself or to mold your identity to fit someone else's expectations. The pressure lifts. You become freer to be authentic, to pursue what genuinely excites you, and to live a life aligned with your values. The freedom that comes from self-focus is empowering. It's the freedom to say, I am enough. I am worthy. I am here for a reason. As you embrace this truth, your resilience grows. Life will always throw challenges your way, but when you're anchored in yourself, those challenges don't knock you down as easily. You develop emotional strength because you have learned to listen to your inner voice, to trust your instincts, and to respond with compassion toward yourself. This self-compassion is the secret weapon that keeps you moving forward. Even when the road gets tough, you start treating yourself with kindness instead of harsh judgment. You stop beating yourself up over mistakes and failures. Instead, you see them as part of the learning process, a natural step on the path of growth. This mindset shift, backed by psychological research, dramatically improves your mental health and overall happiness. When you focus on yourself, you become your own greatest ally, not your harshest critic. It's important to recognize that focusing on yourself doesn't mean shutting others out or turning your back on relationships. In fact, the opposite is true. When you are connected to your own needs and feelings, you show up more fully and honestly with others. Your relationships deepen because you bring authenticity and presence to every interaction. You are no longer drained by people-pleasing or fear of rejection. Instead, you engage from a place of strength and balance. This inner focus makes you more empathetic and patient because you understand your own struggles and needs. It creates a ripple effect that positively influences your environment. When you take care of yourself, you model what healthy boundaries and self-respect look like. Others feel safer and more inspired to do the same. Your life becomes a powerful example of what is possible when you prioritize your well-being. The rewards of focusing on yourself extend far beyond just feeling better day to day. They open doors to opportunities you never imagined. When your mind is clear and your heart is aligned, you make choices that align with your highest potential. You start setting goals that matter deeply to you, not goals imposed by society, family, or peers. These goals fuel your passion and give your life direction. Your focus sharpens and distractions lose their hold because your vision is tied to something real and personal. This clarity becomes a driving force, propelling you toward success on your own terms. It's a success that feels fulfilling, not empty. It's a success that nourishes your soul rather than drains it. You become a magnet for growth, achievement, and joy. And here is the most powerful part. By choosing yourself, you reclaim control over your destiny. The life you want is no longer a distant dream or a vague hope. It becomes something tangible, something you actively create every day through the choices you make and the focus you maintain. You are no longer a passenger. You are the driver. So when you embrace the power of focusing on yourself, you step into a new reality. A reality where your mind is your ally, your heart is your compass, and your actions are intentional. This is the foundation of true transformation. This is the beginning of a life lived with purpose, courage, and joy. You deserve this life. You deserve to put yourself first, not out of selfishness, but out of respect and love for who you are and who you can become. Every moment you dedicate to yourself is an investment in your future, your happiness, and your greatness. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards are immeasurable. You hold the power to change your story by simply choosing to focus on yourself. Nothing is more powerful than that. As you fully embrace the truth that you matter most, you begin to see how deeply ingrained the need for approval from others can hold you captive. It's a silent chain that limits your freedom and dims your light. From childhood, society teaches us to seek approval from parents, teachers, friends, bosses, even strangers. We learn to measure our worth by how much others like us, praise us, or accept us. But this constant quest for approval is a trap, a relentless cycle that leaves you exhausted and empty. The approval you seek outside yourself is fleeting, unstable, and beyond your control. No matter how much you achieve or how many people applaud, if you rely on external validation, you surrender your power. Imagine how liberating it would be to break free from that cycle, to wake up each day not driven by the fear of judgment or the need to fit in, but by your own sense of purpose and worth. This freedom comes when you stop looking outward for approval and start granting it to yourself. Self-approval is the deepest, most enduring form of validation because it is unconditional. It is rooted in knowing that you are enough, exactly as you are, without having to prove it to anyone else. Psychology reveals that self-approval isn't just a feel-good idea, it's essential for mental health and success. People who cultivate self-acceptance experience less anxiety, greater resilience, and higher motivation. They take risks, embrace challenges, and recover faster from setbacks because their worth doesn't depend on external outcomes. When you approve of yourself, you become your own foundation, strong and steady regardless of the storm around you. This shift is profound because it rewires how you relate to yourself and the world. Instead of being controlled by fear of rejection, failure, or criticism, you act from a place of confidence and self-respect. You choose what aligns with your values rather than what pleases others. This is true freedom. It is a revolutionary act to say no to the world's expectations and yes to your own voice. The journey to self-approval requires courage because it means facing the parts of yourself you've hidden or judged harshly. It means forgiving your mistakes and embracing your imperfections. But this process is incredibly empowering. Each time you acknowledge your worth without conditions, you break a chain. Each time you stand up for yourself, you grow stronger. You stop living to please others and start living to please the person who matters most, you. This inner approval changes how you move through life. When you accept yourself fully, you no longer fear making mistakes or being imperfect. You become more authentic. And with authenticity comes a magnetic energy that draws people to you naturally. You inspire others simply by being real. This is the power of self-approval. It doesn't isolate you. It connects you to your true community, to people who respect and appreciate you for who you are. The liberation from approval addiction also sharpens your focus. When you stop seeking validation, your energy is no longer scattered chasing praise or trying to avoid criticism. Instead, your focus becomes laser-like, directed toward what truly matters to you, your goals, your passions, your growth. This clarity propels you forward with unstoppable momentum. You learn to protect your time and energy fiercely because you understand they are precious resources that fuel your self-worth and success. Saying no becomes an act of power, not guilt. Boundaries become a form of self-love, not selfishness. You recognize that to give your best to life, you must first give your best to yourself. This awareness creates a cycle of strength. The more you focus on yourself, the more capable and fulfilled you become. And here is the truth that transforms everything. When you stop seeking approval from others and start approving of yourself, you unlock the key to happiness. You find joy in your progress, peace in your presence, and confidence in your identity. Your happiness no longer depends on circumstances or other people's opinions. It comes from within. This self-approval ignites a powerful fire that fuels your dreams and drives your actions. It empowers you to take bold steps, to embrace challenges, and to persevere when the road gets tough. Because when you believe in yourself without conditions, failure loses its sting and fear loses its power. You become unstoppable. So let go of the need to be seen, liked, or accepted by everyone. It's a heavy burden that keeps you from living fully. Instead, turn your gaze inward and offer yourself the approval you've been searching for. Choose to believe that you are enough, that your voice matters, and that your dreams deserve your attention. This choice will set you free. Remember, the power to change your life lies not in the approval of others, but in the approval you give yourself. When you learn to be your own biggest supporter, you become unstoppable. You step into a life where your worth is unshakable, your focus is clear, and your potential is limitless. This is the power of focusing on yourself, the power to break free from approval addiction and embrace your true strength. It is a gift you give yourself that transforms every area of your life. You don't need permission from anyone else to be your best self. You only need to give it to yourself. Now is the moment to claim that power, to stop chasing approval outside and start building it within, to stand tall in your worth and shine with confidence. When you do, you don't just change your story, you rewrite the rules of how you live, love, and succeed. You are more than enough. You are worthy beyond measure. And your life becomes unstoppable the moment you believe it. When you finally stop looking for approval from others and start giving it to yourself, your life begins to shift in ways you may never have imagined. But this transformation goes deeper than just feeling better about yourself. It rewires your entire relationship with the world around you. Suddenly, you're no longer a passive player reacting to circumstances. You become the creator of your own reality. This change is not subtle, it is seismic. It shakes the foundations of doubt, fear, and insecurity, replacing them with a steadfast belief in your own power. This is where focus becomes your most valuable tool. When your attention is no longer pulled in a million directions by the need for validation, you can harness it fully toward what matters most to you. Focus sharpens your mind like a laser beam, cutting through distractions and noise. It gives you clarity to see your path, confidence to take deliberate steps, and the discipline to keep moving forward when others give up. Your energy becomes concentrated, potent, unstoppable. The science behind this is clear. The brain thrives on focus. It performs at its peak when given a singular goal to work toward. The more you practice directing your attention intentionally, the stronger your mental muscles become. Your ability to resist distractions, manage stress, and solve problems improves dramatically. Focus creates momentum. Small wins build upon one another until they explode into powerful progress. This momentum is the engine that drives success and fulfillment. But focus isn't just about productivity, it's about presence. When you focus on yourself, you become deeply present in your own life. You listen to your thoughts without judgment. You feel your emotions without fear. You connect with your values and desires in a way that feels authentic and empowering. This presence is a kind of inner power that no external force can take away. It grounds you in reality while freeing you to dream bigger and reach higher. Presence also gives you the wisdom to choose what deserves your attention and what doesn't. In a world overflowing with noise, focus is the ultimate act of self-respect. It says, "My time and energy are sacred." You learn to protect yourself from energy vampires, people, habits, or thoughts that drain you without giving anything in return. You become selective about what you engage with because you understand the cost of distraction. This selective focus fuels your growth. It opens space for learning, creativity, and self-discovery. When your mind is clear and centered, ideas flow freely. You tap into reserves of strength and inspiration that were hidden beneath layers of chaos and overwhelm. This clarity leads to breakthroughs, those moments when everything clicks and you see your potential in vivid, undeniable light. Focus also builds resilience. Challenges and setbacks become less intimidating when your mind is steady and your purpose is clear. You develop a warrior mindset, not one that fights recklessly, but one that moves with intention and courage. Every obstacle becomes a chance to grow stronger, smarter, and more determined. Failure no longer feels like defeat, it becomes feedback, a guidepost on the path to success. When you harness the power of focus on yourself, you unlock a cycle of positive reinforcement. Success breeds confidence, confidence fuels focus, and focus creates more success. This upward spiral transforms your life from the inside out. You become a magnet for opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your true self. You start to live not by default, but by design. And here's the most profound truth. This focus, this presence, this clarity, they are gifts not just to yourself, but to everyone around you. When you are grounded and purposeful, your energy uplifts others. Your clarity inspires. Your confidence encourages. People are drawn to your light because it shines with authenticity and strength. By focusing on yourself, you become a beacon of possibility, a living example of what it means to take control of your life. This is why the power of focusing on yourself is so transformative. It rewires your brain, heals your heart, and ignites your soul. It frees you from the chains of distraction, approval seeking, and self-doubt. It arms you with the tools to create a life that feels meaningful, joyful, and true to who you are. So don't underestimate the power of your focus. It's not just about managing your time or tasks, it's about managing your energy, your beliefs, and your identity. It's about becoming the architect of your own destiny. Every moment you dedicate to focusing on yourself is a declaration that you are worthy, that you are capable, and that your dreams matter. This is your life, your story, your journey. When you choose to focus on yourself, you choose to live it fully, boldly, and without apology. You step into a power that is quiet yet unshakable, simple yet profound. Remember, focus is not just a skill, it's a superpower. And it's available to you right now. Use it to reclaim your mind, your heart, and your future. When you do, you don't just survive life, you transform it. As your focus sharpens and your presence deepens, another powerful force begins to awaken within you, the force of self-discipline. It is the silent guardian of every dream you hold dear. Self-discipline is not about punishment or rigid control. It is about honoring your commitment to yourself, your goals, and your well-being. It is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Without it, focus alone can drift and weaken. With it, your vision becomes unstoppable. Self-discipline is born from self-respect. When you truly value yourself, you don't allow fleeting temptations or distractions to steal your energy. You become the master of your impulses rather than a slave to them. This mastery creates freedom, not confinement, because it means you choose your actions with intention. You learn to say no to short-term comfort that leads to long-term regret, and yes to the sometimes difficult steps that build the life you deserve. Scientific studies show that self-discipline is one of the strongest predictors of success and happiness. People who cultivate this quality consistently outperform those who rely on motivation alone. Motivation comes and goes. It is fueled by feelings that can be unreliable. Discipline, however, is rooted in habit and choice. It is what keeps you moving forward when motivation fades, when fatigue sets in, and when doubt creeps in. Discipline turns desire into reality. Imagine what you could accomplish if every day, no matter how you felt, you committed to doing what aligns with your purpose. The power of such consistent action cannot be overstated. It compounds. Every small step, every repeated effort builds invisible momentum that propels you toward your dreams. Success is not about giant leaps, but about persistent, deliberate progress. Self-discipline is the engine that drives this progress. But self-discipline isn't about denying yourself joy or living in a state of deprivation. True discipline is a form of love. Love for your future self who will thank you for the choices you make today. It is a gift you give yourself, knowing that short-term sacrifices lead to long-term freedom and fulfillment. It means prioritizing your well-being, your growth, and your vision above temporary distractions or comforts that do not serve you. The beauty of self-discipline is that it transforms how you see challenges and setbacks. Instead of avoiding discomfort, you begin to embrace it as a necessary part of growth. Every obstacle becomes a test of your commitment, a chance to prove to yourself how deeply you want your dreams. This mindset shift is crucial because the path to any meaningful goal is never smooth. Discipline gives you the strength to keep going when the path gets rocky, when doubts whisper that you should quit. This strength ripples through every area of your life. When you discipline your mind, you gain clarity and focus. When you discipline your body, you boost your energy and resilience. When you discipline your habits, you build a foundation that supports your success and happiness. Discipline becomes a lifestyle, a daily expression of your dedication to yourself and your future. At the same time, self-discipline nurtures your confidence. Each time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. This belief becomes a powerful force that propels you forward. Confidence and discipline feed each other in a cycle of growth that lifts you higher and higher. You begin to trust yourself more deeply and take on bigger challenges with courage. This is the transformative power of focusing on yourself through self-discipline. It takes your focus from a fleeting state to a sustainable force. It turns your dreams into plans and your plans into actions. It rewires your brain to become resilient, determined, and unstoppable. Every choice you make to honor your discipline is a step closer to the life you envision. Remember, The most successful people are not those with perfect motivation or talent. They are the ones who show up consistently day after day, committed to their purpose. They have learned the secret that discipline holds the key to unlocking potential. And that key is yours to claim. So commit to yourself with unwavering discipline. Protect your focus. Build habits that support your growth. When distractions arise, remind yourself of your why, your reason for choosing this path. When doubts try to pull you back, hold fast to the vision of the person you are becoming. This inner strength will carry you through storms and guide you to your destiny. The power of focusing on yourself is amplified by self-discipline. Together, they create a force so strong it cannot be stopped. Your future is waiting for you to show up fully, to live with intention, and to act with unwavering commitment. This is your moment. Own it. When self-discipline takes root in your life, it opens the door to an even deeper level of transformation, emotional mastery. This is the power to control your feelings, not by suppressing them, but by understanding and directing them. Emotions are the fuel that drive your actions, the invisible currents beneath every decision. When you harness emotional mastery, you no longer let fear, anger, or doubt dictate your path. Instead, you learn to channel these energies in ways that serve your growth and your goals. Emotional mastery begins with awareness, recognizing the feelings rising within you without judgment. It means stopping the endless cycle of reacting impulsively or being overwhelmed by emotions. You gain the ability to pause, breathe, and choose how to respond. This simple but profound shift rewires your brain to operate from calm, clarity, and strength instead of chaos and confusion. Science shows that people who master their emotions are more resilient, confident, and successful. They experience less stress and make better decisions, even under pressure. This mastery doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being smart with your emotional energy. You transform emotions from barriers into bridges, from burdens into fuel. Anger can become motivation. Fear can become preparation. Doubt can become caution without paralysis. When you focus on yourself with emotional mastery, you reclaim control over your inner world. You stop being a victim of circumstances or other people's opinions. Instead, you become the author of your emotional story. You no longer depend on external events to dictate your happiness or peace. Your emotional state becomes your choice, your power. This choice is liberating because it means your mood, your motivation, and your confidence are no longer at the mercy of outside forces. You learn to create inner calm in the storm. This calm allows you to think clearly, act decisively, and stay committed to your path even when challenges arise. Emotional mastery creates an unshakable foundation for focus and discipline to thrive. As you grow in emotional mastery, you also develop empathy toward yourself and others. You treat your mistakes with kindness instead of harsh judgment. You forgive yourself for setbacks and use them as lessons rather than evidence of failure. This compassion strengthens your resilience because it prevents the destructive cycle of shame and self-doubt. Instead of beating yourself up, you learn to encourage and uplift your spirit. This self-compassion is crucial because it nurtures a positive inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself shapes your beliefs and actions. Emotional mastery rewires your self-talk from critical and fearful to supportive and empowering. You become your own greatest ally, cheering yourself on instead of tearing yourself down. This shift alone can change the trajectory of your entire life. With emotional mastery, you also gain clarity about your values and desires. You start to recognize which emotions are signals guiding you toward your true path and which are distractions leading you astray. This clarity sharpens your focus even more because you're no longer chasing fleeting feelings or trying to escape discomfort. You're moving intentionally toward what truly matters. This kind of emotional intelligence is rare, and when you cultivate it, you stand apart. You become magnetic, not because you try to impress others, but because your presence radiates calm confidence and authentic strength. People sense that you are grounded and real. They trust your judgment and want to be around your energy. This connection enriches your life and supports your growth. Emotional mastery also gives you the courage to face your fears head on. Fear often masquerades as a wall blocking your progress, but when you master your emotions, you see fear for what it is, an invitation to grow. Instead of shrinking away, you learn to lean into discomfort and use it as a stepping stone. Every time you do this, your courage expands and your confidence deepens. This cycle of emotional mastery, courage, and growth propels you forward on a path of continuous transformation. It turns challenges into opportunities and setbacks into comebacks. You become unstoppable because your inner world supports, not sabotages your dreams. So, when you focus on yourself with emotional mastery, you unlock a profound power, the power to lead your life with intention, resilience, and grace. You no longer react to life, you respond to it with clarity and strength. Your emotions become your allies, guiding you toward your highest self. This is the essence of true freedom. It is the freedom to be fully human, flawed, strong, vulnerable, and unstoppable. When you claim this power, you step into a life where your focus is unwavering, your discipline is strong, and your emotional energy fuels your success. Remember, emotional mastery is not a destination but a daily practice. It requires patience, honesty, and courage. But the reward is immense, a life lived on your terms, with peace in your heart and fire in your soul. This is your power. This is your path. And it begins when you focus on yourself, completely, courageously, and without apology. As you master your emotions and harness their power, you begin to understand a fundamental truth. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. Every belief you hold, every narrative you tell yourself shapes your experience of life. When you focus deeply on yourself, you gain the ability to scrutinize these thoughts with clarity and intentionality. You stop being a passive recipient of mental chatter and start becoming an active creator of your mindset. Thoughts are not just fleeting ideas, they are the seeds from which your habits, behaviors, and ultimately your destiny grow. Negative thoughts can chain you to fear, doubt, and limitation. Positive thoughts can elevate you to courage, confidence, and limitless potential. The difference lies in your choice to nurture one over the other. When you focus on yourself, you reclaim that choice. You begin to consciously plant the seeds that will grow into the life you desire. The mind is incredibly powerful, but also easily hijacked by distraction, anxiety, and self-sabotage. This is why so many people feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unfulfilled. Their thoughts run wild, unchecked, spinning stories that keep them small and afraid. But when you sharpen your focus inward, you bring these thoughts into the light. You expose the lies and limiting beliefs that have been holding you hostage. And then you have the power to change them. Changing your thoughts is not about forcing positivity or ignoring reality. It's about cultivating awareness and choosing perspectives that empower rather than disempower. This shift rewires your brain, strengthening neural pathways that support growth and resilience. Science calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and change throughout life. By focusing on yourself and your mindset, you literally reshape your brain to serve your highest good. This mental transformation creates a ripple effect. As your thoughts become clearer and more constructive, your emotions stabilize, your discipline strengthens, and your focus sharpens further. You enter a cycle of positive reinforcement where every element of your inner world supports the other. This alignment is the secret weapon of those who achieve extraordinary success and fulfillment. Moreover, mastering your thoughts grants you freedom from external validation and opinion. You no longer depend on the approval of others to feel worthy or motivated. Your sense of value comes from within. This independence is liberating. It means your peace, your confidence, and your joy are not at the mercy of outside forces. You become your own anchor in a turbulent world. With this freedom, you unlock creativity and innovation. When your mind is calm and focused, new ideas flow effortlessly. Solutions to problems appear clearly. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. This mental clarity is a catalyst for breakthroughs in every area of your life: career, relationships, health, and personal growth. At the same time, focusing on your thoughts helps you set boundaries. You learn to recognize mental patterns and influences that do not serve your growth. You become selective about what you feed your mind, what information you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the mental habits you cultivate. This discipline protects your mental energy and ensures that your focus remains pure and powerful. This mental clarity also fosters patience and persistence. When your thoughts are aligned with your goals, you are less likely to be discouraged by setbacks or delays. You understand that growth is a process and that every challenge is part of your journey. This mindset keeps you steady, motivated, and resilient no matter how long the road. The incredible power of focusing on yourself through mastering your thoughts lies in its ability to turn possibility into reality. You become the conscious creator of your life story. You craft a narrative filled with hope, strength, and purpose. You rewrite the script that has held you back and replace it with one that propels you forward with unstoppable momentum. This transformation is not magic, it is a practice, a daily commitment to notice, choose, and nurture thoughts that serve your highest self. It requires courage to face the shadows of your mind and patience to build new mental habits. But the rewards are immeasurable. You gain a mind that is your greatest ally, a mind that empowers you to take bold action, overcome fear, and achieve your dreams. Remember, your thoughts are the blueprint for your life. When you focus on yourself and consciously design this blueprint, you build a foundation that supports everything you desire. Your success, happiness, and peace all flow from this inner architecture. The clearer, stronger, and more positive your thoughts, the more powerful your reality becomes. So, choose your thoughts with intention. Guard your mind as the most precious resource it is. Cultivate beliefs that inspire you to rise, create, and thrive. This is the profound gift of focusing on yourself, the gift of owning your mind, your story, and ultimately your destiny. When your mind is clear and your thoughts align with your deepest purpose, a remarkable power emerges, the power of intention. Intention is the invisible force that shapes your actions and ultimately your reality. It is not wishful thinking or vague hoping. Intention is focused, deliberate, and backed by commitment. It is the energy you pour into your goals every single day, guiding your choices with unwavering clarity. Without intention, even the most ambitious dreams remain distant fantasies. But with intention, your desires become commands your mind and body are eager to follow. Intention sharpens your focus like a laser beam, cutting through distraction and doubt. It turns your goals from abstract ideas into concrete objectives that you pursue relentlessly. Psychology tells us that intention activates the brain's reticular activating system, the filter that decides what you notice and what you ignore. When you set a strong intention, your brain becomes tuned to opportunities and resources aligned with that goal. You start seeing solutions where before there were only problems. You attract people, ideas, and circumstances that support your vision. This is the science behind the magic of intention. But intention is more than just setting a goal. It is a declaration to yourself about who you are becoming. It shapes your identity and your habits. When your intention is clear, your actions reflect it naturally. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You start living with purpose and direction. Every decision becomes a brick laid in the foundation of your future. The power of intention also fuels resilience. When challenges arise, and they will, your strong intention reminds you why you started. It keeps your spirit unbroken and your motivation burning bright. You learn to see obstacles not as dead ends, but as detours that strengthen your resolve. This mindset is the hallmark of those who achieve lasting success. Focusing on yourself with intention means constantly asking, what do I truly want? What kind of person do I need to become to achieve this? How will my actions today bring me closer to that vision? These questions anchor you in the present moment and keep your path clear. They prevent you from drifting into complacency or distraction. Furthermore, intention connects your inner world with your outer reality. It bridges the gap between thought and action, between dreams and results. When your intentions are aligned with your values, your energy flows effortlessly. You experience a powerful sense of flow, where effort feels natural and progress feels inevitable. This flow state is where greatness is born. Living with intention also deepens your self-awareness. You become more attuned to your desires, your strengths, and your limits. This awareness allows you to refine your goals and strategies continually. You become adaptable without losing sight of your core purpose. This balance is essential because rigid goals can break you, while flexible intentions keep you moving forward with grace. Intention also liberates you from the trap of external expectations. When your focus is on yourself and your authentic desires, you no longer chase validation or approval. Your worth is defined by your own standards, not by the opinions of others. This freedom fuels confidence and peace, empowering you to pursue what truly matters. The ripple effects of living with intention extend beyond your personal success. Your clarity and commitment inspire others to find their own focus and purpose. Your actions create a legacy of courage and authenticity. You become a beacon of possibility in a world that often settles for less. Embracing the power of intention is a daily practice. It requires mindfulness to pause and reconnect with your vision amid life's noise. It requires courage to realign yourself when distractions pull you away. But the payoff is extraordinary. A life lived with meaning, direction, and unstoppable momentum. This is the gift you give yourself when you focus deeply inward. You unlock the ability to create not just what you want, but who you want to be. You move from drifting through life to designing it with precision and passion. So hold your intentions like a compass. Let them guide your every move, fuel your resilience, and ignite your passion. In this space of focused intention, your true power unfolds. Your dreams no longer wait, they become your reality. And the life you were meant to live is finally within reach. With the power of intention firmly rooted within you, the next step is to cultivate unwavering focus. Focus is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. It is the force that channels your energy, attention, and effort toward what truly matters. Without focus, even the clearest intentions scatter like dust in the wind, never gaining the momentum needed to transform your life. Our focus is not merely about avoiding distractions. It's about committing your full presence to the moment, to the task, to the vision. When you focus, you enter a state where time slows, clarity sharpens, and your capacity to perform reaches new heights. This state is where ordinary effort transforms into extraordinary results. It is the superpower of those who rise above the noise and mediocrity to claim their greatness. The human brain is wired to seek novelty, to jump from one stimulus to another. This is why focus feels like an uphill battle in a world designed to fragment attention at every turn. Social media, notifications, endless to-do lists, they all compete for your mental space. But when you learn to harness focus, you reclaim control over your mind and your life. You choose what deserves your energy and what does not. Scientific studies confirm that focused attention significantly boosts productivity, creativity, and problem-solving ability. When you concentrate on one goal with intensity, your brain creates deeper neural connections, enhancing memory and skill. This is why mastery in any field demands relentless focus. Not talent alone, but the disciplined application of attention over time. Focusing on yourself means setting boundaries that protect your mental and emotional resources. It means saying no to distractions, toxic relationships, and activities that do not align with your purpose. It is the courage to prioritize your growth over fleeting pleasures or social pressures. This kind of focus requires strength, but it returns strength tenfold by clearing the path for your success. This clarity of focus also sharpens your decision-making. When your attention is aligned with your goals, choices become simpler and more decisive. You no longer waste time second-guessing or procrastinating. Instead, you act with confidence and precision. Each decision builds momentum, creating a powerful chain reaction that propels you forward. Focus deepens your connection to your goals. It transforms vague aspirations into tangible targets. This connection fuels motivation because you see the direct impact of your efforts. You feel progress, which triggers dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, reinforcing your commitment and energizing you to keep going. Moreover, sustained focus cultivates resilience. When you concentrate on your path despite obstacles and setbacks, you develop mental toughness. Challenges no longer derail you, they become tests that strengthen your resolve. Focus trains your mind to persist, to adapt, and to find solutions rather than excuses. When you focus on yourself with this kind of intensity, you tap into flow, the state where skill meets challenge and time fades away. In flow, your best work emerges effortlessly, and you experience profound satisfaction. This state is the sweet spot of human potential, where creativity and productivity soar. But focus is not a switch you flip once, it is a muscle you must train daily. It demands discipline, mindfulness, and rest. You must learn to protect your attention as fiercely as you protect your physical health. This means managing your environment, setting clear goals, and developing habits that support deep work. As your focus sharpens, distractions lose their power over you. You become immune to the noise of doubt, fear, and external opinions. Your energy aligns with your inner purpose, creating a magnetic force that draws success toward you. This is the power of deliberate focus. It transforms scattered energy into unstoppable momentum. Focusing on yourself also means tuning into your body's signals. Your physical health directly impacts your mental clarity and focus. When you honor your body with rest, nutrition, and movement, your mind sharpens. This holistic attention to self fuels your ability to sustain intense focus and perform at your best. Ultimately, focus is the key to unlocking the full potential of your mind, your intentions, and your emotions. It is the anchor that holds you steady amid life's chaos. With unwavering focus, you no longer drift through life hoping for change. You become the change. So, claim your focus. Guard it with vigilance. Let it be the force that channels your power and passion into results. When you focus deeply on yourself, you create a life that is not only successful but meaningful. You build a legacy of discipline, courage, and relentless pursuit of your highest dreams. This is your moment to sharpen your focus and step into the life you were born to live. The path is clear, the power is within you, and your future waits for no one. Focus and rise. When focus becomes your constant companion, a powerful transformation begins to take shape. Your relationship with time shifts. Time, once a relentless force slipping through your fingers, now bends to your will. You begin to see that how you manage your attention determines how you experience every moment. Every second becomes an opportunity, a building block toward the life you envision. Time is the one resource that is truly equal for all of us.